Hello, everyone. Welcome back to No Man's Sky Permadeath Next Generation. I should call it No Man's Sky 2021. I'm sure somebody will. Today this is gonna be a super short video. We're gonna go briefly over technology. Suit technology, multi-tool technology, starship technology. And I asked yesterday for people to comment how they like to do their technology. And I don't think I was very clear on the question, so I got a good variety of answers from placement to min-maxing to using math. And there are literally dozens of ways that you can go about this, and they are all perfectly valid. And the reason for that is because, frankly, we're not really facing anything that incredibly intense. The most in, the most dangerous thing that we face is the weather. And so I'm going to start with the exosuit, even though the menu automatically goes to Starship. So the exosuit, there's a lot of different ways to lay this out. Some of you said that you like to put all of the tech in the bottom, and I think Lava said he puts the tech on the right side because when you're accessing stuff in the menu, it picks from this side first, and that makes it easier to organize. Um, Other people said that they arrange their tech by it getting its maximum qualities. So I'm just going to show you some of those today. First, I'm going to say the only hazard protection I use, and this is permadeath, um, the only time I use two is for underwater modules. And the reason for that is because one runs out and the suit lady doesn't tell you that you're drowning. So you need that time for that second one to be running while you reload the first one. Everything else I only have one of. And this is permadeath. Now, a lot of people have three of each in the front, and that's also perfectly valid. Those people often don't go into the quick menu and load their stuff. I think Matt Vangelis 2019, Matt said that he doesn't use the quick menu at all, so he puts things in here in the order that he can easily find them. So right there you've got the oxygen. It's going to be quite quickly found in an emergency. So let's just take a look at this tech. There's a few different ways of doing this. This classic square shape, it may or may not have the maximum value. So if you look, life support modules are not created equal. Um, and we're gonna move right on after life support because this is true of life support, of jump, and of movement modules. I always call them jump packs. Movement modules. Shields, on the other hand, are slightly different, and the math sort of doesn't work in No Man's Sky. If you just look at these numbers, it's not exactly what's happening. But we'll look at life support. Um, I had one person tell me that this is the best way to set it up, and it may be on paper the best way to get the um, most of the bonus to the actual module. But Zane has found that the modules actually give each other a buff as well. This is a terrible module. I need to replace this one. But he also said that you need to put the most powerful one in the center. So if we take the 94% life support tanks and put that in the center, it gets a buff from this one and this one. And the three of them together buff the main support. Now, mind you, none of this matters. Life support is hit points. And the higher the numbers you have, the more hit points you're going to have, but it's negligible. So these could all three be 50s, and I might notice it because I'm used to having higher numbers, but you're not going to really notice it. So you're going to take damage, you're going to read up, whatever you need to do. If you're fighting sentinels, you'll shoot a can, that'll replace all of that, and you'll be fine. Or you can absolutely maximize this and stand toe to toe with a walker for 20 minutes. Shouldn't take that long to kill one though. But the point is, it's based on how you play. If you're not fighting sentinels and running around with predators, then this isn't that important. You can go with just life support by itself, but this is permadeath, so we've got 3 S-Class life support modules here, and we have 3 here. And the same is true for movement modules, which the more movement you have, the better ability you have to escape, but also to explore, because nobody wants to walk. And defense shields, as I said, they work slightly differently. On this save, I haven't done either Artemis or gone through the center, so I don't have, or the Atlas rather, so I don't have the Remembrance or the Starseed. If I did, that would add to life support. And in tech, I just have the 4 basic hazard protections. You'll notice as I'm playing that as soon as it comes up, there's one, I immediately drop a battery on it. Sometimes I let it go. It depends on the environment. If it's really stormy or really bad, I'll load it right away. If it's not so bad and it's just slowly degrading the shield, then I might wait until the suit lady bugs me enough to change it. Let's go on to starships, and then we'll do multi-tools last. I just ran the wrong way because I was facing the wrong direction. We have 4 starships in various stages of dress. The hauler, which is just a glorified cargo hold, it's not something that I fly. It's just something that I call to where I'm at. So I shoved all the technology in the back. We don't need this. I've been meaning to take it out. So we can actually put that back there. And now all of the space in the front is purely for cargo. This serves a double duty of if I want to go through a black hole or through the center of the galaxy into the next galaxy, this is the perfect ship to do it in, because when you do that, only the technology placed in the front in general inventory is damaged by that, whether you go through a galactic core or just through a black hole. With the galactic core, you have a 100% chance of everything in the front being destroyed and having to be fixed. With a black hole, you have about a 25 to 35% chance of more than one thing being damaged, and it will not damage the 4 main tech. So pulse engines, photon cannons, deflector shields, and hyperdrive will not be damaged by a black hole. So they can stay up here, but they're in the way, and this is a cargo ship. So that's its purpose. Our first ship, the Radiant Pillar, it was designed to keep us alive, so it started out with some pretty good shield strength and maneuverability. So what have I done to it? Oh, God, I can't believe this stuff is empty. I moved the main tech into the back, starting with the pulse engine and launch thruster, the shields, and the photon cannon. So they were in the back, out of the way, and that gave me more room to carry stuff early game. As time went by, though, things got moved around. Like I put the economy scanner in, so I put it in the back, and we can move this stuff out of the way. And then I got a hyperdrive, and then I started building the hyperdrive. So between this hyperdrive and this hyperdrive, this one gets more of a kick than this one does. So if you want to absolutely maximize your hyperdrive range in a small ship with very little capability, just keep moving these modules around until this number right here goes to the highest it can. And this is a ship that we don't fly anymore. I just kept it for emergencies. It was the second ship all this time, and it's kind of nostalgic to hang on to it. This is the third ship. This ship is in full development, and so let me get the economy scanner out of the way. In the back, you can see that I have the shields. Now, shields on a ship do not get the same kind of bonus. You can surround the shield, one on each side, by upgrade modules, or you can line them straight up. They don't take the bonus the exact same way. And so your shield strength, which this number may or may not be true, and that's certainly true of damage potential, but your shield strength will change very little. I keep hitting the wrong button. Over time compared to where you put these things. What changes your shield strength is the number of shields that you have. And so I have room for one more. I did put in the ablative armor, which also adds 7%. And so that's how I worked that out. The purpose of an exotic is to fly. Its purpose is to travel. And so I have, you can see I have my Indian drive. I have 3 S-class drives, which aren't that great. 221, 233, and another 221. They surround the Indian drive, and they also give a bonus to the main hyperdrive. Now, I moved these around a lot last night, and this is the highest number I can get, 2584, with what I have here. I also have 3 smaller hyperdrives back up here, and the whole point of rolling out technology is to raise your hyperdrive value. Not much of anything else changes with a ship. You can get more pulse engines. We have room for 2 more. That'll raise the maneuverability, but I'm not going to notice it. You know, I'm not going to notice because I'm either landing on a space station or taking off and going directly into hyperspace, because that's the purpose of this ship, is long distance travel without taking the entire freighter. And the freighter I haven't done yet. We'll talk about this last ship, and then we'll talk about multi-tools, which I think is probably more important than anything else. This is my main ship, and you can see I need 2 more shields right here, so we're going to ignore that for right now. This ship is the most important one because I fly it the most. Now, I'm using rocket launchers and photon cannons for fun. They're not the most powerful weapon. The most powerful weapon, short range, is the positron, and arguably the long range most powerful weapon, arguably, is the cyclotron. I've heard people say that it's the infra knife. I'm not sure about that. I put the infra knife on after Beyond dropped, and I was impressed with the sound, but not with the power. In your main ship, you most certainly want to set this up to the best ability that you can, depending on your playstyle. Now, I don't have room to surround each module on either side with the upgrades. So I pack them in and try to give them as much bonus as I can by having them touching each other. Shut up, Matt. And Shunt. Talking about the modules. The launch thruster is really important because we do explore a lot. So we do have the launch system recharger, and the longer your ship is sitting on a planet on the ground without you in it, the more it will recharge your launch thruster, and that saves on fuel. And in permadeath, you go through a lot of fuel. I also have the efficient thrusters, which cuts the cost by 20%, and that helps, but only in that you still have to load your thrusters every other time that you launch off the ground, but it takes less fuel to reload them, is what I'm trying to say. So back here, I just have the basic stuff. Here's the hyperdrives, pulse engines, photon cannons right here. The rocket launcher doesn't have upgrades. And here's the basic shield and its 3 upgrades. In the front, I have the main technology. And that's because this ship isn't going to go anywhere that's going to hurt it. Pirates aren't going to hurt me. Sentinel drones aren't going to hurt it. Its purpose is to, get me back and forth between planets and space stations and, you know, star system jumping from, something that's maybe 100 to 1100 light years away. As you can see, it's not maximized. It's only 1600 light years. But that's because these aren't maximized. The S-Class upgrades, that's a really good one. The S-Class upgrades can be 250 light years each. And if they are all maximized and put together properly, in here and in here, all maximized, a fighter like this can do uh, almost 1800 light years of jump, which isn't necessary because it's a fighter. Its purpose is to protect you. So, in the interest of space, though, I tend to make things as compact as they will go. And I just now moved that to get it out of the way. So I have the main gun surrounded by upgrade modules. I have the main pulse engine surrounded by upgrade modules with a uh, uh, upgrade to its power here, the amplifier, and to its stability, fuel efficiency right here, the instability drive. And I just threw those in on the side. They're new tech. Well, they've been new for a year, but that's still new. But it gives me 810 maneuverability, which is almost max, and that's pretty good. Pulse engines give you both maneuverability and speed across the star system, so they're kind of important. And like I said, I've been moving the hyperdrives around, and at this point where I'm sitting, this is what's working. Now, when things change or when I move them around, this number goes up and down. It's not incredibly important for a fighter to have super good hyperdrive range, though. The last thing that we're going to talk about is probably the most important piece of equipment that you have, and that's your multi-tool. I have more than one. And, oops, let's change multi-tool. I have the one that we started with, the waveform focuser. I have the molecule driver, which is an S-class alien from Ocean Beaches. And I have the Prayer of Pasov, which is also an alien that Lava Lamp found more recently, and I think it's pretty nice. So we'll just look at the multi-tool really quickly. My multi-tool is set up for 2 things: harvesting on farms and defending me. It's not designed to go out there and do PvP battles, so I don't have PvP weapons. I just have the scatter blaster, because the scatter blaster will take down or push back most things in most circumstances with one shot if it is set up properly. And again, I'm going to argue that taking away the bonus of them touching each other is not probably the best thing to do unless you separate your multi-tools into a fighting weapon and a farming weapon, farming and scanning weapon. So if you have one that's just for fighting, you might want to set up the guns in the order that you want the DPS to show. And this number is sort of not accurate. It's more than sort of not accurate. It's not in the least bit accurate. I'm not going to do 9,893 points of damage with one shot with any kind of a gun, no matter how it's set up. That's not going to happen. A direct shot to a walker or a sentinel is 405 points. That's when the number turns orange and you have hit the absolute sweet spot. And it doesn't matter what weapon you use to do that. It will do it if you hit it in the right spot. The scatter blaster is the gun that I use because it works for the most different situations. You can see I'm kind of toying around with the bolt caster. I don't think I've ever actually fired the bolt caster on this multi-tool. I used to use it exclusively before I knew what I was doing. And then I found the pulse spitter, which is a machine gun, and it is a joy to fire. It's not incredibly accurate though, but I've taken down probably 250 or 300 walkers with a pulse spitter, so it is fun. The scatter blaster is without a doubt the most powerful one-shot weapon that there is. I don't think that anyone that's looked at the math and the actuality will argue that. Certainly Zane says that it's the most powerful gun. You can put a scatter blaster on and not upgrade it at all, and the only thing you're going to suffer there is a lack of bullets. So it does an incredibly intense amount of damage. Let's talk about farming. I'm going to take this off of here for just a second so that you can see. I'm going to actually take that off permanently so that you can see the mining beam all by itself. Here is the main technology. Here is the optical drill. As you can see on the optical drill, it says resources mined plus 50%. Here is the advanced mining laser. It increases your mining speed and gives you the ability to destroy more complex things. Here's your main mining beam. It's just a laser. And here's the 3 S-class modules. These are not maxed out. I have not rolled out these modules at all. But they give the best bonus to the optical drill by being around it and having the advanced mining laser underneath it and the mining beam in between 2 S-class modules like this off in a corner somewhere. The difference between getting 750 cactus flesh from your biodome and getting 1150 cactus flesh from your biodome is huge. It is a massive difference. And any of you that you've seen any of my farming videos from this year will see that difference. I plant 10 circuit boards, I farm them up, and I get 15 circuit boards out of that. And the reason for that is because of the way that the mining beam is set up here. It is 100% the reason why I get 15 circuit boards out of a 10 circuit board farm. The scanner is probably the most important early module that you can have. The very first time you put any kind of an S-class scanner upgrade on your scanner, your money is going to quintuple immediately by scanning stuff. Except for minerals, they're still only worth 200 each. But a plant that you get $500 for is suddenly going to be worth $6,000. So you can see how valuable it is to spend that 600 nanites, get that scanner going, because the earlier you get one scanner upgrade on your scanner, the earlier you're going to start making the money that you need to live and to advance. And this is the first biggest way of making money in No Man's Sky. A lot of people don't put this on Waveform Recycler. This affects your ship. I don't care how many people tell me I'm wrong. If I'm sitting in space in a radiant pillar and I scan without any scanning upgrades on my multi-tool, it takes forever for that scanner to recharge. Not as long as it does if I'm standing on the ground, but in the ship, it takes forever. You add this waveform recycler, and it feels faster. Even if it's not, it feels faster to me. I like to be able to go from planet to planet to planet to planet, scan, get the whole scan done, and get out of space as fast as I can. A lot of people have told me that I'm full of it, that the multi-tool has nothing to do with the ship, but I think the scanners improve. That's all I'm going to say about it. All right, you guys, that is the absolute basics of technology for your exosuit, your fighter, or your starship, and your multi-tool. Any kind of questions or comments that you'd like to add down below, please do. And if you're newer to the game, read the comments too, because there are a lot of players with a great deal of knowledge that put that knowledge down in the comments instead of putting it on videos for you to watch. So check it out. All right, I want to thank you all so much for coming along. We will see you on Monday. Have a great weekend.